Luke Kuechly was a football mastermind. His ability to read offenses was so sharp, he'd often be in the backfield before blockers could even react. As quarterbacks changed plays at the line, Kuechly mirrored them, adjusting his defense with precision. Opponents were both stunned and frustrated by his knack for calling out their plays before they even ran them. But how did he become arguably the smartest linebacker in NFL history? And why did he walk away at his peak? Kuechly's mental edge started young. Even as a kid, he saw football differently. What he lacked in raw athleticism, he made up for with brain power. In high school at St. Xavier in Cincinnati, he helped turn the program into a powerhouse. His coach, local legend Steve Specht, introduced him to the art of film study, and Luke soaked it in. According to Specht, Kuechly understood every position and consistently stayed one step ahead of everyone on the field. As a junior, he was a do-it-all player, leading St. Xavier to an undefeated 15-0 season and a state title. By senior year, he was one of the nation's top high school linebackers. But when it came to college recruitment, his ranking was surprisingly low. At just 200 pounds, he didn't have the physicality scouts craved and was rated a 3-star recruit, and only the 44th ranked outside linebacker in the '09 class. Still, there was some interest. Kuechly narrowed his college choices to Stanford, Duke, Virginia, and Boston College, all academic powerhouses. He ended up choosing BC because it was Catholic like St. Xavier and had long been a destination for players from his high school. But proving himself at the next level wouldn't be so easy. Early on, he admitted to getting beat up by older, stronger teammates. Luckily, he found a mentor, BC defensive back Wes Davis, who spent hours in the film room teaching Kuechly how to dissect opponents. With this new knowledge, Kuechly's football IQ exploded. He quickly became a playmaker at outside linebacker and earned ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year as a freshman. As a sophomore, BC needed someone to step into the middle linebacker spot. Though uncertain, Kuechly embraced the challenge, and that's when he transformed into a tackling machine. During his 3 years at BC, he set program records with 532 career tackles and 191 in a single season as a junior. After that dominant campaign, Kuechly declared for the NFL draft, ready to test himself at the highest level. Scouts raved about his instincts and technique. He was considered one of the most fundamentally sound linebackers to come out in years, NFL ready from day one. However, there were concerns about his physicality since he hadn't made any splash plays near the line of scrimmage in college. The Carolina Panthers were ready to find out though. Their head coach at the time, Ron Rivera, was a former linebacker on the legendary 1985 Chicago Bears and had been a defensive coordinator in both Chicago and San Diego. Rivera knew elite defense, and now he had Kuechly. The Panthers believed Kuechly could become the leader of their defense, the on-field strategist, but that didn't happen overnight. Carolina already had a standout middle linebacker in John Beeson. So after drafting Kuechly, they initially placed him on the outside. Just like in college, he learned from veterans, Beeson, Thomas Davis, Greg Olsen, and defensive captain Charles Godfrey. But even they couldn't prepare him for the moment that would shape his career. After week 4, Beeson suffered a knee injury and 2 weeks later underwent season-ending surgery. Suddenly, Kuechly was thrust into the role of defensive captain at just 21 years old. Despite the pressure, he handled it like a seasoned vet. He practically lived in the film room, and when Sundays came, he showed up in a big way. Playing all 16 games as a rookie, he led the NFL with 164 tackles and recorded 2 interceptions. With Kuechly at the heart of the defense, Carolina's unit improved dramatically, jumping from 27th in scoring defense to 18th in just one season. Kuechly's performance earned him NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year honors, edging out another rising star, Bobby Wagner of the Seahawks. But the question lingered, was this just a breakout year or could he sustain it? He wasn't the most athletic linebacker in the league. Could offenses adjust and exploit him? The answer was a resounding no. In his second season, Kuechly proved he was no fluke. He started all 16 games again in 2013, totaled 156 tackles, and grabbed 4 interceptions. Under his leadership, the Panthers became the second stingiest defense in the NFL. Carolina finished 12-4, capturing the NFC South for the first time in 5 years. Kuechly was named first-team All-Pro and won NFL Defensive Player of the Year, all just 2 years into his career. He had become a star within the Panthers building, the anchor of their defense, and a relentless student of the game. During the week, Kuechly routinely put in 12-hour days with 2 to 3 hours strictly focused on film. He craved insight into what opponents would run on Sundays. Hall of Fame coach Tony Dungy even compared his film habits to Peyton Manning's, calling Kuechly a step ahead of everyone. When Luke recognized a play, he didn't hesitate. He attacked. His teammate Thomas Davis witnessed it every day. But not everyone appreciated his detective work. Tight end Greg Olsen joked that going against Kuechly in practice was a nightmare. He'd recognize every formation and ruin plays before they even began. Olsen said offensive coaches had to ask Rivera to pull Kuechly from the field when installing trick plays, otherwise he'd sniff him out immediately. The effort he poured into studying and practicing was evident on Sundays. In 2014, Kuechly again led the NFL in tackles and earned first-team All-Pro honors for the second time in 3 years. Despite Kuechly's dominance in Carolina's elite defense, postseason success continued to elude them. They now had won back-to-back division titles but hadn't advanced past the divisional round. Then came 2015, the season everything clicked. The Panthers hit their stride across the board. On offense, Cam Newton delivered an MVP campaign. On defense, Luke Kuechly was in peak form, orchestrating the unit with intelligence and intensity. On Thanksgiving Day, Luke Kuechly's football intellect was on full display for a national audience against the Cowboys. Late in the second quarter, Carolina called a blitz, but Thomas Davis revealed it too early. Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo responded with an audible, but Kuechly, ever the strategist, adjusted the defense instantly. What happened next became one of the defining moments of his career. As Romo dropped back, Kuechly initially ran stride for stride with tight end Jason Witten. But sensing where the throw was headed, he broke off coverage, jumped the route, and returned the interception for a touchdown. Then, incredibly, on the Cowboys' next drive, he picked Romo off again, proving to the nation what Panthers fans already knew. Kuechly could outsmart even the most experienced quarterbacks in real time. The Panthers dominated that 2015 season, finishing 15-1 with the NFL's best record. They finally broke through in the postseason too. In the divisional round, they beat the Seahawks with Kuechly tallying 11 tackles and another pick six. In the NFC Championship against the Cardinals, he again stole the spotlight, recording 8 tackles, a fumble recovery, and yet another interception returned for a touchdown in a commanding 49-15 win. That set up a cerebral showdown in Super Bowl 50, Luke Kuechly versus Peyton Manning. Carolina's defense limited Denver to just 194 total yards, but the Broncos' defense, led by MVP Von Miller, proved too strong. Despite Kuechly leading the game in tackles and adding a sack, Carolina fell 24-10. And after just 4 NFL seasons, Kuechly had already been to a Super Bowl, made first-team All-Pro 3 times, and claimed Defensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year honors. Nicknamed Captain America by Cam Newton, he seemed indestructible. But beneath that image, his body was showing signs of strain. In 2015, Kuechly suffered the first concussion of his career, one he claimed was his first ever, and missed 3 games. Then in Week 17, he injured his shoulder, requiring off-season surgery. The turning point came in 2016 during a Week 11 game against the Saints. Kuechly tackled running back Tim Hightower, but took the crown of Hightower's helmet square to the face mask. The hit didn't appear that severe, but the aftermath was deeply troubling. Kuechly sat dazed on the turf. As trainers rushed to him, he began crying uncontrollably. He later said he didn't know why he was crying, only that something felt wrong. As he was carted off the field, the sight of him in tears stunned fans and players alike. The diagnosis? A grade 3 concussion, the most serious kind. Kuechly missed the last 6 games of the 2016 season and remained in the league's concussion protocol. Still, his early season performance was so dominant that he was named second-team All-Pro. But now, he had 2 significant head injuries in 2 years, and the question loomed, how much longer could he keep playing? In 2017, he returned for Week 1, and over the next 3 seasons, he looked like his old self. Each year, his tackle count climbed, and he was named an All-Pro every season, twice on the first team. He was the embodiment of durability, playing in 48 of a possible 49 games, including the playoffs. That one missed game in 2017? Another concussion, his 3rd in 3 seasons. Dr. Kevin Guskevitz, a UNC professor and brain injury researcher who consulted with the NFL, told Sports Illustrated that by the third concussion, the risks of long-term neurological damage rise significantly. Kuechly also endured another shoulder injury in 2017, which required surgery. Though he made it through the 2018 and 2019 seasons without further setbacks, by the end of 2019, the toll on his body had become too much. The once dominant star realized he couldn't keep playing. He wasn't willing to compete at only 70% of his peak form. It didn't feel right to his teammates. So in January of 2020, at just 28 years old and after 8 incredible seasons, Luke Kuechly made the heartbreaking decision to retire from the NFL. Throughout his career, his greatest strength wasn't his size or speed, it was his mind. And now, it was time to protect that mind before irreversible damage was done. But stepping away from the field didn't mean leaving the game behind. Later in 2020, the Panthers brought Kuechly on as a scout, a role that seemed perfect for someone who thrived in the film room. He could still break down tape, evaluate talent, and stay connected to the game. However, after one season, he realized scouting wasn't the right fit. Soon after, he returned to the field in a new way, teaching football to young players. Alongside former teammates Greg Olsen and Jonathan Stewart, Kuechly joined a middle school coaching staff in Charlotte. It brought him back to the basics and closer to the game's purest form. Then, in 2022, Kuechly once again rejoined the Panthers, this time in the broadcast booth. He became a part-time color commentator for the team's radio broadcast, where he used his knowledge to break down plays in real time, giving fans a deeper understanding of the game. By January of 2025, after completing his third season as a broadcaster, Kuechly was named a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Though he wasn't inducted just yet, few doubt that his name belongs in Canton. Kuechly earned All-Pro honors in every season of his career except his rookie year, when he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was also named Defensive Player of the Year, but perhaps more than anything, he's remembered as the most cerebral defender the league has ever seen. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out more of our content.